Finding a flag football league in the nation's capital isn't difficult, but there was only one league made just for the gay community. Lizzie Horn tells us how a small group of guys playing pickup has turned into one of DC's most popular leagues. It was a disappointing season for the men's basketball team, missing out on any postseason action again. You have to make the majority of your income wearing a suit and working a normal 9 to 5. The University of Maryland is home to many student athletes, and like any other Terp, he has his own superstitions that he hopes bring him a little bit of luck. Shaquille Cleary is going to be a big center for the Terps, and small forward Jake Lehman, and they'll fit in nicely with Charles Stoglin, who led the league in scoring this year. Crab cakes, football, and baseball? The University of Maryland isn't known for America's pastime, but I caught up with two Maryland teams who are making Terp fans think baseball. When University of Maryland freshman Zachary Lederer got out of major brain surgery in late January, there was only one thing on his mind. He wanted to let the world know that he'd be okay. And although he doesn't have a bracelet or a ribbon to give to others, Zach's bringing awareness to the fight against cancer in his own way. Zacking, the newest posing phenomenon, started by cancer patient Zachary Lederer, a freshman student manager on the men's basketball team at Maryland. And just hours after he had major brain surgery for the second time in 7 years, it was Zach who wanted to make sure his friends and family were at ease.
In my mind, the only thing I wanted to do was get the point across that if you were at all worried that Zachary Lederer was going to be okay coming out of the surgery, I wanted to make it very clear that, here I am strong as ever, and I feel great.
Zach is one of roughly 12 million people battling cancer in the U.S., according to the National Institutes of Health. But when the disease afflicts someone close to you, head coach Mark Turgeon says that's when it really hits home.
I think our guys being the same age makes them feel fortunate for what they have. They have their health, and you don't appreciate your health till you don't have it. We all know that.
But he's still got to wipe the floors.
He does everything everybody does, so it's hard to treat him different. It's just somebody who's there, who loves the game, who's just there for the support.
Zach's inspired people from at least 19 different states in the U.S., and his defiant pose has spread to at least 5 different continents already. However, in his mind, he's just another student at Maryland. And like any other Terp, he has his own superstitions that he hopes bring him a little bit of luck.
When I'm walking, I have to touch every storm drain. I touch the ceiling before I leave my room every day. Just crazy stuff that, you'd probably think I'm crazy. And I think I'm crazy, for that matter.
That crazy kid is raising awareness for childhood cancer. But Zach knows, just like on the basketball court, it takes more than an individual to beat something this big.
People don't realize that I'm not going to beat cancer alone. My community is going to beat cancer, my family is going to beat cancer, my doctors are going to beat cancer. Zachary Lederer is going to be the byproduct of the world beating cancer.
So every time someone zacks, they're helping him inspire kids to do the impossible. Beat cancer. Zacking has made the jump from the web to the wardrobe, and you can get your very own Zacking Against Cancer t-shirt at nightmaregraphics.com. And Leah, the best part about this is that 2/3 of the proceeds go to the Zacking Against Cancer Foundation.
That is really great. And it's been a while since you've caught up with Zach. How's he doing now?
Well, he just went through his second round of chemo and recently got out of the hospital. Seems to be doing just fine. If you want to send in pictures of your own in support of Zach, send them to zacking27@gmail.com.
2 more.
Chesapeake Bayhawks midfielder Kyle Dixon has been playing Major League Lacrosse for the last 6 years. It's a job that takes a ton of commitment.
Pretty much 13 to 14 weekends out of the summer that you're on a plane or on a bus going somewhere. So it is a big sacrifice, but anybody would do it to play at this level.
But for Dixon and many of his teammates, life as a professional athlete is more of a hobby than a full-time occupation. Of the 30 players who will make the Bayhawks roster, only 3 to 4 actually make enough money playing lacrosse all year round. So even if you're a former All-Star like midfielder Kyle Dixon, you have to make a majority of your income wearing a suit and working a normal 9 to 5. A UVA grad with a sociology degree, Dixon's primary job is as a financial advisor for RBC Wealth Management, a position he secured thanks to connections made attending a top lacrosse program.
You can pretty much get any degree and it can take you into a great career, and I've kind of translated what I've learned in sociology to get to where I am now in finance, and it's worked out pretty well.
Old school Virginia.
During the MLL summer season, Dixon spends about 9 hours a day in the office. Then it's time to train.
Get ready and get in shape and do sprints and do your agility work and hit the weight room. It's tough when you work a long day. That's the last thing you feel like doing.
Can't be Sally on the ground.
Bayhawks general manager Brian Reese says it takes a dedicated individual to play in the MLL, but there's a fair amount of give and take between player and organization.
They have their families, they have their work commitments, so we try to balance that all together, and we ask for a commitment from them and also try to work with them so they can have a normal life.
People always ask me how many years I have left, and it's my 7th year and I'm still going strong, so I think I got another few in me at least. It's definitely worth it.
Athletes who truly do it for the love of the game. Reporting in Annapolis for Terrapin Timeout, I'm Daniel Baker. For talented baseball players at the University of Maryland who didn't make the varsity team or don't want to put in the time commitment to be an NCAA athlete, the club baseball team is a viable alternative.
But when you're playing for Division I coach for a Division I team, there's a whole lot of pressure, every day, which is good. I mean, it makes you a better player and a competitor, but it's just a whole lot different.
And it's a place to find success on the diamond as well. The varsity team has just 3 winning seasons since 1991, while the Division I club team has made the National Club Baseball Association College World Series 3 times since 2004. Just one reason sophomore Austin Richards made the move from the varsity team.
Good decision I made, and I'm happy to be on this team. Love the guys, love playing ball, coming out here every day, playing ball, and so far it's been great.
There are 2 club teams at Maryland. Club president and D1 head coach Junior Mike Bichelle has to split up a large pool of players into the 2 teams.
Every year we have about 70 or 80 guys coming out, and that's too many to put on one team, obviously. So we try and split each team up to 25 on D1 and 25 on D2.
Both teams are part of the NCBA, but the better D1 team plays against bigger schools like Virginia and East Carolina. The Division II team competes against smaller schools like Georgetown and Loyola University of Maryland. Junior Nick Sevilla, one of the D2 team's top hitters, says they work together to succeed even if they don't compete on the field as one.
We share the field, practice time, like we'll hit in the cage while they're on the field, and then we can rotate while we're going to do field work, and then they'll hit in the cage. We both have the same goal of wanting to do really well, and we try to help each other out as much as possible.
So far, it's more than just talk. Both teams sit atop their respective divisions just a couple weeks into the season, but with conference play on the horizon, they soon face their biggest test to see if they have what it takes to reach the Club Baseball College World Series. For Terrapin Timeout, I'm Daniel Baker. Maryland state sport and its biggest rivalry. The number 10 University of Maryland men's lacrosse team will travel to Baltimore on Saturday night for the 108th matchup with the number 3 Johns Hopkins Blue Jays. The last 3 games between the Terps and the Blue Jays were decided by 1 goal. It will be Maryland's first trip to Homewood Field since 2008, and for the Terps, the most important game on their schedule. Crab cakes, football, and baseball? The University of Maryland isn't known for America's pastime, but I caught up with 2 Maryland teams who are making Terp fans think baseball. Both club teams are still in first place in their conferences, right on track for their postseason aspirations. It's time to rock the red. The Washington Capitals, the 7th seed in the Eastern Conference, begin their first round playoff series with the number 2 seed Boston Bruins tonight at 7:30 in Boston. The Capitals went into the playoffs with the top 2 seed in each of the last 3 years, but the team failed to make a single conference final despite lofty expectations. One bright spot for Washington fans, the Caps posted a 2-1-1 record against Boston this year.